What's up, guys? Rob here, and today I'm going to share with you my 6 simple tips for goal setting with your kids. I'll be right back. So my 6 simple tips for goal setting with your kids is part of a bigger blog at leanwellonline.com. If you're watching this video from leanwellonline.com, thank you very much. And go ahead and look at the blog because I'm just going to do a really high level explanation of what the 6 tips are in this video. But my goal is for you to go read the blog in order to get more of the meat of what I'm trying to say in these 6 tips. Now, I do want to let you know that these 6 tips are things that we do, that I practice in my house with my kids, and it appears to be working so far. So I will tell you that from my experience, you can be successful with this, but there's a lot that has to do with your personalities of your kids and your personality also. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the 6 simple tips for goal setting with your kids. So my tip number 1 is to realize that your life is your life and your kids' life is their life. Now, this is really hard for people to grasp, and we've seen a lot of parents that try to really portray their life or live out through their kids. And this is hard because you may be putting this extra pressure on your kids that they just can't possibly live up to, because they have their own personality and they're building their own life. So you have to find a way to separate and realize that your kids, they're trying to build their life and you need to be a part of that, of course, but you can't make them be something that they're not gonna be. So my tip number 2 is be a student of your kids. And what I mean is make sure you're studying your kids and not try to force them into being things that you want them to be. So ask them questions, things that to where you can get to know what's going on in their life, how they think, what their dreams are, and things like that. Learn from them, and then that's going to help you for the next step. So the next tip is ask goal setting questions. So the goal here is to kind of prep them and get them thinking about what they want to be later on in life. And then what you're going to do is you're going to ask questions that help them think about it and help them gain ownership of what they want to be. They may come up with they want to be a veterinarian, and you may ask questions like, well, what do you think that means? What do you think you have to do in order to be a veterinarian? They may answer you, well, that means I may have to go to school. And then you can say something like, well, what should you do right now? What could you do right now? They can say, oh, I can take my schoolwork more seriously because I'm going to have to go to school to be a veterinarian. That's just a really loose example of some things, but you want to stay away from yes and no questions, because those doesn't really cause them to think. It's like, hey, do you want to be a vet? Yes. Then you're done. You want to foster dialogue, which will foster trust and make you actively listen, and it will really build your relationship with your child. Number 4 is receive approval to be their accountability partner. Now, I know every parent wants to be their accountability partner to their kids, but what I mean, and you are in life because they're under your care and watch, but what I mean by this is when it comes to their goals, who's going to keep them accountable to reaching their goals? You want them to have the impression that they have control over this, so you want to ask them. You may ask them a question like, well, who do you see that can make sure they understand what accountability partner is first, or what accountability partners are first, but then say, well, who do you see that can do that for you? And they may say, well, Uncle Jimmy and Aunt Jane, and they may not say you, but hopefully they will, and honestly, they probably will say you. But if they don't, ask another question. Well, why didn't I make that list? And then listen to them, and don't do it in a threatening way, because you really want the real response from them. You want them to be honest with you, and you can learn from that, right? Or you can come back and say, I really can help you with this, and maybe they will let you in to do that. But you want them to have the ownership of it, and that's how they're going to really do this thing. They're going to really stick to it, and it's going to be theirs and not yours. Number 5, and this one is presuming that you are, or assuming that you are their accountability partner. Number 5 is hold them accountable lovingly. And even if you're not their accountability partner, when they start where it's looking like they're kind of falling off from the path of reaching their goal, you may encourage them to go talk to their accountability partner. But if that person is you, and it probably will be, then what you want to do is you want to motivate them to and give them a little push to get over this hurdle or this hump, but you don't want to do it for them. So you want to be that motivating, again, like that coach. You want to be that coach in their life that gives them the motivation to get over the hump, to get to where they're trying to get to. Right? So you want to do it in a loving way. You don't want to be threatening in this way, because they're going to just shut down, and it's going to be a bad experience, them trying to reach this goal. And my number 6 and last tip is to celebrate the small wins, aka the inch stones. So the way I see goal setting is, I see the goal, I see milestones, like the big achievements within that goal, and then I see the inch stones, which are the small victories. And these are the things that you look at to get you to the big milestones, which the milestones get you to the goal. All right, so when you have those small victories, celebrate them, and celebrate them often. But what you want to do, you got to have some balance here, because what you don't want to do is you want to have the big celebration, the big hoorah, and then they feel like, well, that was good enough. That was great. I got praise, and so I don't have to do anymore. So you don't want to do that, but you want to encourage them to keep going, and a little motivation, a little celebration will do that. Well, hopefully these tips will help you, and thank you for tuning in. Those were my 6 simple tips for goal setting with your kids. Please go check out the blog at leanwellonline.com. Please read the blog. Please click that little heart that lets me know that you liked it and you were there. But also feel free to go ahead and comment, and please go ahead and like, share, subscribe this video right here. But thank you for tuning in to my channel. This is B-Rob.